Why is Curacao 3 times richer than Jamaica? Jamaica tourism industry remains at 4.3 million visitors since 2017. Now Curacao has 5 times more tourists than Jamaica per capita. Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of Jamaica Diaspora Discussion Forum, where we, the Diasporas, discuss strategies to improve our home country and the general standard of living for all Jamaicans. Disclaimer. These comparison posts are not meant to decry Jamaica in any way, shape, or form. They are meant to demonstrate the gap between Jamaica and other similar countries' visitor numbers, with the intention that the Jamaican government will take the correct actions by rapidly increasing visitor numbers to Jamaica. The average citizen in Curacao is 3.4 times richer than the average Jamaican. Curacao's GDP per capita was $17,717 in 2021 according to the World Bank, while Jamaica's GDP was $5,183 in the same year. This makes Curacao 3.4 times richer than Jamaica per capita. Curacao also has 5 times more visitors than Jamaica per population size using last year's figures. The ratio of visitors to Jamaica is just under 1.5 times its population size, while Curacao's visitor ratio is over 7.5 times its population size. Hence, Jamaica has 5 times fewer visitors according to our population size when compared to Curacao's 7.62 visitor numbers ratio. We can see this same trend of Jamaica's tourism industry shortcomings happening all over the world, among many small countries that used to be under British rule, such as Barbados, the Bahamas, and Singapore, just to name a few. The one thing that these countries all have in common above Jamaica is that they have 3 to 5 times more tourists than Jamaica per population size or per land size, or in most cases both. This is why they are 3 to 5 times richer than Jamaica. It can't be any simpler or plainer than that. The Jamaica tourism industry, along with the Jamaican economy, has fallen well behind many of its Caribbean neighbors, just as it did in comparisons with many former Commonwealth countries, such as Hong Kong and Singapore. Jamaica now needs to have a good look at these countries' visitor numbers in relation to their population size and the size of their countries, then make the necessary adjustments to catch up. Curacao, which is 444 square kilometers, is the same size as St. Andrew, one of the smallest parishes in Jamaica. Yet in 2019, Curacao had visitor numbers of 1.21 million visitors, with a population of just 159,000 people. Curacao had a ratio of 7.624 visitors per Curacao citizen. For Jamaica to match this number, Jamaica would need 21.54 million visitors every year. In terms of the environment and the size of both countries, if we divide the size of Jamaica by the size of Curacao, we will end up with Jamaica needing almost 25 times more tourists than Curacao. Jamaica's land size is 10,991 square kilometers, divided by Curacao's land size of 444 square kilometers, which equals 24.75. Hence, Jamaica is 24.75 times larger than Curacao. If we multiply this by Curacao's visitor numbers, which are 1,209,668, we would end up with almost 30 million visitors that Jamaica would need to match Curacao's visitor numbers per land size. It cannot be that the country is lacking so much infrastructure, roads are in deplorable conditions, and tourists who love Jamaica have to be visiting other Caribbean countries because Jamaica is lagging behind. Meanwhile, our people are in need of permanent full-time work and livelihood. How does that make sense? The thing about Curacao is that tourism is not even its #1 industry. Curacao is blessed to be located just off the coast of the country with the largest oil fields in the whole world, Venezuela. Hence, oil refinery has been Curacao's #1 industry for decades now. This means that Jamaica needs tourism more than Curacao. However, just like Singapore, which has other industries to rely on other than tourism, Curacao is ahead of Jamaica in the tourism industry, as I have demonstrated above. Now is not the time for pipe dreams and wild imaginations, as the Jamaican government habitually sells. That is when the Jamaican government comes up with their bright ideas of making Jamaica a high-tech society that can make smartphones and computers to export abroad, or turn Jamaicans into climate change scientists that can solve the world's climate change issues, etc. All these ideas are pipe dreams and wild imaginations on the government's part, so at the end of their term in office they can say that they have made some changes. Hence, it's up to the next government to carry on their good work, a sort of kicking the can down the street mentality. While at the same time, the government ministers in power are getting super rich due to their influence of being in power. Now is the time for Jamaica to come up with a practical solution, and that is the aim of this program. This solution is simply to put the idle hands to work in Jamaica, as I've always said. By doing so, we would have inevitably addressed the first issue, joblessness, which would solve the second issue, infrastructure. Because these people will now be building up the infrastructure in Jamaica, which will again solve the third issue of visitor numbers. More developed infrastructure, such as hotels, parks, and entertainment venues, will attract a lot more tourists. And not only will that rake in huge dollars for the country, it will again provide even more employment. One maneuver addresses all issues like a domino effect. Seriously, what are we waiting for? Take Singapore, for example. Singapore is approximately the size of one Jamaican parish. It is much smaller than Jamaica, yet it has a greater population and welcomes annual visitors of more than 3 times its own population size. We in Jamaica have a much larger land with a far more vibrant culture and are barely passing our population size with the number of visitors we welcome each year. What's even worse? The government is bragging about it. Every year for the past 8 years, apart from during the COVID lockdown in 2020 and 2021, the government has been boasting about record tourism numbers. All the boasting over the past 8 years about record tourism numbers is mainly trickery and manipulation of numbers, and sometimes they just lied about some figures. The reality is that Jamaica has never surpassed its 2017 tourism visitor numbers of 4,300,000 visitors for that year of 2017. Many Jamaicans are living in deplorable housing conditions. The tourism industry could be used to provide permanent full-time jobs for Jamaicans. Then build affordable housing for those Jamaicans who are on minimum wage. The government should be able to train those who worked in the lower end of the tourism industry so that they can be paid at the same rate as other Caribbean countries' hotel workers. Some Caribbean countries pay up to 3 times more than what Jamaican hotel workers are paid, oftentimes by the same hoteliers. If the Jamaican government can't figure out how to train its citizens, how to work efficiently in a hotel, so as to double their wage up to other Caribbean countries' levels, how are they going to train Jamaicans how to make smartphones, computers, and turn them into climate scientists, like Singapore and other more developed countries? People need decent houses in their parish to live in now. They don't need pipe dreams and wild imaginations from the government. Because Jamaica had never had a land distribution system for its citizens since slavery was abolished in 1833, almost 200 years ago. This has led to many disenfranchised people all across Jamaica that persist unto this day. Currently, many disenfranchised youths have turned to crimes and violence, making Jamaica one of the most dangerous countries in the whole world due to its high homicide rate. Lack of decent housing and high crime rates goes hand in hand in many countries around the world. Hence, Jamaica needs to address its housing issues. As one of its crime-fighting tools, I've seen where China has gone through a massive house-building program over the past 2 decades. They have built houses in towns and cities which are yet to be occupied, while Jamaica is facing an acute housing shortage. Especially in the low-income housing category, where Jamaican citizens on minimum wage cannot afford to buy a house. The Jamaican government should hire some Chinese companies to build 30,000 affordable housing units each year in Jamaica over the next 10 years, totaling 300,000 houses by 2035, so that all Jamaicans working in a full-time minimum wage job can purchase a house. By hiring the Chinese companies to build the houses on this scale, the government could get the houses for 30% less than the price that would be on the open market. Then the Jamaican National Housing Trust should buy those houses from the Chinese companies at the predetermined cost. Then the government should be able to sell these houses to its citizens at a reasonable cost. Most of these houses should be for low-paid workers, such as those who are working in the all-inclusive hotels across Jamaica. Some of the houses should be built for the mid-income key workers and public sector workers as well, such as nurses, teachers, and police officers, etc. Thank you for watching another episode of my new series titled UK Pound 50 Billion Repatriation Funds to be Invested in Jamaica, UK Pound 10 billion loans for infrastructure programs, and UK Pound 40 billion foreign direct investments to build 200 mega hotels of 1,000 rooms each in Jamaica. To support this channel, please click on the subscribe button. Share this video in your WhatsApp groups and send it to all your friends, as we try to demonstrate how the tourism industry can transform lives in Jamaica. Remember to let us know what you think about this video by leaving your comments below. Please keep your comments respectful. God bless you, God bless the Jamaican Parliament, and God bless Jamaica. Until my next video, peace and love. This is part 4 of my current series. Look out for part 5.